What's going on? This is one video and probably a series of videos that I'm putting together about the idea of the strong man. What is a strong man? What makes up a strong man? I mean, you see people, of course, with the superficial things like uh, physique, muscles, big. They might be a fighter. They look tough. They sound tough. But what makes a true strong man often is something that doesn't meet the superficial standards that we commonly see. We see a lot of fools out in the world who pretend to be strong. Typically the loudest one in the room is loud because they're trying to hide their weakness, their insecurities. And so a lot of people think that if I go around and I poke my chest out and talk loud and talk a lot of trash and aggressively, that makes you strong, and it really doesn't. And see, so with this one, of course, I'm focusing on the strong man is not afraid. If you typically have to do all of that bravado stuff, then normally or often, not always, but often it is a sign of fear, or it's a sign that you have been a bully and you have spent so much time trying to intimidate other people. But one way or the other, then being a bully is also a form of weakness, except that you have the physical strength to use bullying to hide your mental weakness, your lack of confidence. But typically, you have a strong person. So I'm going to give you an example of the way a strong person will handle a situation. Let's just say you're a family man. You got a wife, you got kids. You're out and you get approached. You're out with your wife, you get approached by some fool who is just a knucklehead out there trying to cause trouble. Now, the strong man is not afraid. Some people are afraid. Don't get me wrong. There are some people who see an intense situation and they are afraid. They're cowardly. They're timid. They're nervous and they become that way, and it shows. A strong man can be afraid in a situation, but the difference is that strong man doesn't allow fear to stop them from doing what needs to be done. So fear can't exist with a strong person. You can be strong and still have fear. You can still be afraid of what danger might be there. But the difference between you being a strong person is that regardless of it, you do what needs to be done. And what needs to be done is not always going to be fighting or getting into a physical conflict. That's not always going to be the case. A strong man is going to analyze, has wisdom, and that strong man is going to analyze the situation, because even though he is not afraid of that fool who is out there, he's not afraid by any means. He knows how to fight. He knows how, he has physical strength. He takes care of himself. He trains. He keeps himself in a good condition so that he can handle his business. But he also understands risk. He understands value. He has something to lose. So the strong man is not necessarily going to sit here and it's not going to be a punk. I mean, he's not going to be sitting here and be cowardly and this guy's disrespecting him and all of this kind of stuff, disrespecting his wife, disrespecting his family. He's not going to put up with it like, oh, please leave us alone. He's not going to do anything like that. He's just going to look at the situation as a matter of fact standpoint, like, leave us alone. He's not afraid. Look, I don't. He might even say, "Look, I don't want any trouble. I don't want to fight. I don't want any trouble." Not because he's afraid, but because he is smart enough to calculate the risk. He's smart enough to know that even though I'm strong, even though I'm a trained fighter, even though I probably can take you. First off, any fighter knows that in any situation, there is still a possibility that something bizarre can happen and you can still get hurt, even if you are a trained fighter. So that's one. But also, he recognizes the point that you're out here, you got nothing to lose. You're some knucklehead out here. Whereas I have responsibilities, I have kids, I have a wife, I have, all of these type of things. And I do not want to lose my freedom trying to prove something to a fool, to an idiot. I do not want to harm you and go to jail, or harm you or worse, or just simply just be in a conflict and get arrested and have to deal with legal trouble because of some idiot, some fool. That's the strong man's mentality. The strong man knows, yeah, I can handle myself. I can take care of business. But this idiot is not worth the potential consequences. See, a lot of people mistake calmness, mistake control, self-control as a thing of fear when really it's a thing of wisdom, it's a thing of understanding, it's a thing of value and knowing what is worth what. So that's why I say a strong man is not afraid in the terms of he's a coward. You disrespect him and you're attacking him. He's running. He's fleeing. You know he'll leave his child or his spouse behind because he's just so afraid. He's terrified. He's just trying to get away. That's weak. That's weak. A strong man will see the situation, be able to analyze it, but make the decision on how to engage based upon what the risk is, what is willing to lose, what he's willing to lose, and so forth. Because the strong man is not afraid of what you would do to him. That's not a concern. He's not afraid of getting in a fight and losing it. He's not afraid of any of that. But he is afraid of being stupid and putting him in a situation where now he can no longer take care of his responsibilities. He can no longer be there to protect his family or his responsibilities or whatever it might be. He's no longer able to do it because now he's in jail because he was stupid enough to get on the level of an idiot. That's the difference of the strong man. Don't get me wrong. You do, you're going to be a strong man. You do need to be able to, have, I'm not saying you got to be some boxer or some kind of MMA fighter, nothing like that, but you do need to keep yourself up. You need to stay active. You need to stay strong. You need to strength train. You need to do these type of things. You need to have a strong mind. You need to have a developed mind because part of strength and part of protecting is protecting financially. It's protecting spiritually. It's protecting emotionally and all of those other components, which are far exceeding beyond just physical strength. But you do need to have physical strength too. You need to have mental strength. You need to have spiritual strength. You need to have emotional strength and not be easily swayed. But you also just need to be mature enough that you recognize idiocy and you know what's worth the risk and what's not. And that strong man, if it comes down to a situation where he has to go there, he's going to do it without hesitation because he's not afraid. He's going to do what needs to be done and he's going to do it as hard and impactful as possible to make sure that he will never have to do that again. So he's going to handle his business all the way. You really don't want that strong man to cross that line because if he does, it might be a very terrible situation for you. That's the strong man, not the one who just reacts because you're being stupid and being an idiot. He's going to demand self-respect. He's going to be respectful. He's going to require respect. Don't get me wrong. He's not going to be a punk and just run and just be intimidated and fearful, nothing like that. But he's going to also be smart because what he has to lose is far more valuable than idiocy and ego that's out there. He's not afraid. If he has to do it, if he has to handle business, he's going to handle business. You don't want him to but you really don't want him to get to that point. But he hopes not to. Just know he's not afraid to do so if necessary.